Welcome to everyone in the United States and around the world. This is Love, Truth, and Peace. I am your host, Dr. Melody Harris Barrow, coming to you live here in Miami. This show was created to equip nations and people with the knowledge and tools they need to improve, create, build, prosper, and change their environment so that they can effectively lead to a better future. Our topic today: Ghanaian women battling domestic abuse in Middle East and Gulf countries. And to discuss, I would like to introduce Reverend Na Osi Okansi is a member of the Okansi royal family out of Ghana. But let me tell you a little bit about her. Not only is she a member of the Okansi royal family of Ada of Ghana, she is a woman of God, a professional engineer, a philanthropist, a businesswoman, a songwriter, a mother for the motherless, a voice for the voiceless, a migration expert and radio show hostess, and many more. She's going to be on this show. She's on this show, and she has a lot to say. And of course, my daughter, my beautiful daughter from Nigeria, Omotolo Fawumi, and she's the president of Rescue Africans in Slavery Organization. Hello, my beautiful queens. How are you?
Very well, thank
Hello,
you.
thank you.
Very good. We have a lot to talk about. And of course, let's start with our princess, Asio Kansi. Let's start with her because she have a lot to say, and we only have 45 minutes. And this show, actually, we're dedicating this show to many of our women from Africa and around the world that have lost their lives trying to find a future and a better life. And this, and it has to stop. This has to stop right this minute. And we're going to need the support of many, not only of people outside of Africa, but also in Africa, especially men. Go ahead, my queen. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank you, my dear sister, for the great work that you're doing. We need women of power like you to get on board so that we can get this message out. 1619 to 2019, 400 years that the children of Israel, the people of African descent, have been enslaved. They're not slaves, but had been enslaved in the Americas. Now we're in 2020. Right here, as you and I are speaking, our daughters are in slave-like work in the Middle Eastern countries, particularly in Lebanon, where there's also been an explosion. We have crisis there, where our daughters are stranded, they're sick, they're suffering, and even some of them are suicidal. And this is something that cannot continue. We cannot be enslaved anymore, especially under our watch. Under your watch and my watch, we know that we will not sit and be silent and watch our daughters, our sisters undergo slavery for any reason. And so we want to sound the trumpet very, very loudly to our African leaders, not just the Ghanaian leaders, but recently the United Nations Youth of Ghana and our End Deadly Work program under the Necotech Center for Labor Migration Diplomacy have joined forces to petition the Ghana government to stop, and all African governments actually, to stop signing bilateral labor agreements into the system, which is a slave-like employment system in the Middle East called kafala. Kafala is a system in the Middle East that enslaves our daughters. And we want to make sure that our leaders know the information and they can recognize kafala bilateral labor agreements and stop signing our daughters into this form of slavery.
That's right. That's right.
I consult for the African Union. I'm one of the 22 labor migration consultants that advise African governments on legal migration. And one of the things we're doing now is to make sure that our leaders are totally in tune. And this show is one of those shows that I was saying to you earlier. I wish we could take this show to the doorstep of every African head of state.
We
And
will.
that we arm them with the information that they need to ensure that this never happens again.
Yes. One of the things I want to say is this. This show is to bring awareness to what's happening in Africa, Latin America, the Caribbean, and people of African descent around the world. The reason I'm saying this is because we are not getting the visibility on CNN and Fox and all these major news. So we have to do what we have to do, not only for our women, but there are men also in Africa that have traveled all throughout Spain and Italy and all these areas that are also being mistreated. So this is now a crisis.
Yes.
This is a crisis.
It is a crisis.
And this is because, and I have to say this is because we have to start taking care of business at home. So
Yes.
that way our young people do not have to go abroad for jobs.
Yes.
What is it that our African government are doing that are not doing, that their children have to leave their homes to be mistreated, to be killed, to be abused? We have to pay attention to what's happening. Because I'm going to tell you, if we are not paying attention to what's happening now, we're going to go back to where we were.
Yep.
And we cannot afford that. Because a lot of times what we're doing, Omotola, is the fact that we are watching daily, but we're not doing anything until it gets to the point where our children are going to be enslaved in Lebanon, in all these European countries, and it's going to be out of control.
Yes.
So this is the time now. It should have been done a long time ago, but this is the time now where we have to we have to do something now. Because Omotola, she's going to speak now, and she have rescued quite a few young women, and she's been on this show about 3 times. Because I am not going to give up. I am not going to stop talking about this. You are going to keep coming on this show until somebody can hear us. Go ahead, Omotola. Talk about the things that you have experienced and what's going on at this point now, because you've been on this show before. Go ahead.
Thank you very much once again for having me. And maybe I'll just quickly start by something that I experienced today, specifically in Lebanon. So we've had several girls who have been coming home. It's been a very complex process. Complex because they have to deal with the trauma of the explosion, and there was another one yesterday in Lebanon as well, around the Hezbollah region. They have to deal with the lack of money for even those who were maybe legally engaged as migrant workers. They are now being thrown on the streets. So the people who hire them can't even pay. That's apart from those who actually bought them as slaves and mistreating them. So what did I say happened today? I got a call from one of the organizations that we partner with on ground. This is Lebanon, and they told me about a particular Nigerian girl who has been raped several times, who has worked in about 5 or 6 houses. They've been able to get her out of the slave master's house into a shelter, but because she's so traumatized, she can't even settle in the shelter. She lives cautiously. She's in her mind only a few times in the course of a day. And those are the few times that they can really have a conversation or get through to her. Other than that, all through the day, she's a zombie. This is one of several ways our sisters are having to live. We also have cases of those who have been rescued from their slave masters, but then now willingly, because of survival, turn to prostitution. So they were rescued from people who bought or sold them as slaves, and while in what is called a temporary shelter, which also are not very good, sleeping in one room, so it's very uncomfortable environment. At night, these women dress up and then go out to prostitute, so they have money to feed. Our women should not have to do that, but that's the situation that we are right now. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the ladies, some of the people that we asked to help with either monitoring them, getting food across to them, helping to pay COVID-19 testing fees for those who are willing to travel, raising money for um what's it called, for tickets for
Yeah.
them to be able to exit those
I
countries.
see. Right.
You have to do that, and you have to manage both those who are in transit, so they are stable enough to travel, while attending to those who are still with the slave master, and we're thinking of a way for them to escape.
Right.
It's a very horrible situation.
Situation.
It
Yes.
is an emergency, like Princess said. Something has to be done right now. And
Yes.
all government, we should be on red alert. It should be a national, or what I say, an African-wide emergency.
Right.
Our girls are in trouble. Our women, our men are in trouble.
Yes. Princess, is it because I brought this up before in my last show when we did this? Remember Omatola? I think what we need to do, it's a campaign to bring awareness in Africa, because a lot of times a lot of young ladies are not aware of the whole process. They're promising them that they're going to get them a job. When they get over there, they take their passports and stuff. Do you think that we can initiate a campaign in the whole of Africa? We can start with Ghana, we can start with Nigeria, but we need to have a campaign to bring awareness to our young people. Is that possible?
It's not a matter of is it possible. We don't have a choice. We must.
Okay.
You see, for me, it's like, how can we sit and be silent under our watch in 2020 to go back to slavery? How can we? All we have to do as mothers and fathers is to project the faces of our daughters and our sons. Or if you have a daughter, project your daughter's face onto these faces in Lebanon and see if you can sleep at night. You cannot.
No.
And God must be very upset about what is happening.
That's right. That's right.
What is happening is a major injustice that must be stopped right now.
Yeah.
Not tomorrow, or it's not a matter of whether or not we can. We have to.
We have to do it.
It's a divine responsibility. It's from a human rights standpoint, from a heavenly standpoint. All the courts of law of the world and the courts of heaven are standing against this kind of treatment.
Yes. Yeah.
And the women, these are not women who left Africa because they want to go somewhere to prostitute themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
These women who had to choose they are between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
They just want to put food on the table,
right,
and to contribute their quota to their family bread basket.
Yes.
So they decide to go and work overseas and then send some money home. Yes. Many of them are now family heads. They are the ones who are allowing people to go to school, go to hospital, have daily food to eat. Yes. They send remittances back home for national development. And so these women are very, very important. But unfortunately, they're falling into very, very bad situations.
Yes.
And one of the women we spoke to, again through this is Lebanon. The lady said she had to go and sleep on the street because she couldn't wait for monies to be sent by governments for her to come. So in order for her to get a ticket to come back home quickly, she decided to go, and it was a choice between sleeping in the streets and getting money from Lebanese men to buy a ticket to come. How many times are they gonna sleep with you before you earn enough money to come home? That is a sorry situation. Yeah. And I want every African leader, when it hits their ear, to do whatever possible. Believe me, these women were American women. Do you think they'll be there? If they were European women, would they be there? No. Why should Africa allow this to continue?
Do they value us?
That's a question right now.
Men in Africa, let me ask you this, because and let me go back to history, because I'm living here in the United States. There was a time that when a black man looked at a white woman, he was hung because they appreciate their women, according to them.
Yes.
Now, men in Africa are watching this every single day. They also participate. They also participate in what's going on.
Yes.
So I have a question to all my men in Africa that are watching this show. Do you value me as a woman? Do you value the princess as a woman? Do you value Omotola as a woman? You see, we are not valued by you, but we are going to value ourselves. Because the nation cannot provide enough jobs. And let's be real. Let's speak reality here. Yeah. Okay? The nation cannot provide the jobs for the very people in the nation. But you have Europeans coming to the land and have been on the land for so long that they cannot provide for themselves. I'm talking about us as African people. We are starving in our own land, but yet the colonializers are still there benefiting on the land. So what are we supposed to do? We cannot stay there. We have to go out and look for a job, because that's an African woman. She's going to provide for her children, for her family. She's not going to stay there and starve. So my thing is this: do you not value us? Do you not value your sister, your mother, your aunt? So now it's time. This is not a woman's job that we have to protect women. This is all of our job in order to protect each other. And that is not happening in Africa at this point. It is not happening. You're watching your women being abused and killed, and you're just watching and reading the newspaper about it. What are you going to do about it? I am talking also to the governments in Africa. What are you going to do about this? Because this is a crisis now. This is not a joke. Let me show you something. This man, and I keep this on my picture gallery here to remind me every single time when we talk about this, because this still exists. This man was marked. This is now, the now. This was not in slavery. This is now. So this is what's happening to our people, but because we don't have the visibility to see what's happening, we are ignoring it. Now, the next question is, Princess, do we want to go back to this? Do we want to go back to slavery? Do we want to go back to this? That's my question today. Do we want to go back to this? This is serious, my people.
It is.
Do we want to go back to this? What I'm showing. Men being hung and the children are watching. All of this, do we want to go back to this? My point is this, Princess. Campaign.
Right now.
Have to get involved.
Yes.
Right now.
Let's do this.
Right now.
I might not be in Africa, but right. I can do a lot of things.
We have to raise the youth in Ghana. I'm the chairperson for the UN Youth Association of Ghana. There are about 5,000 youth. On UN Peace Day, we launched a petition to the government of Ghana. Now, UN Peace Day also happens to be the birthday of the first president of Ghana, the Pan-Africanist, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And in his spirit of doing things not just for one African country, but for the whole continent, the youth launched this petition called End Deadly Work Now. And it's not a Ghanaian only, it's an African-wide petition that was launched. We need support from every corner, every African everywhere. We want the diaspora, the Caribbean, all the diaspora must come together and say to our African leaders, enough is enough.
Yes.
We are in the 21st century, year 2020. Why must this continue for our people? Why should an African woman be on the streets of Lebanon, sleeping with somebody to get her ticket to come back home?
Yes.
Why are they dying in their numbers? If you see how our women have been cramped, even sardines have spaces among them.
Yes.
They are on top of each other. And with a COVID-19 season where there should be social distancing.
That's right.
And they are cramped in a place with no protocols whatsoever.
No.
Yes. Yes.
And then how can our leaders sleep at night? And so we need to raise these images for people to see and understand that we are in the middle of a warfare.
Yes.
In fact, COVID-19 is small compared to what we're going through with the enslavement that African women are going through. COVID-19 is a dwarf.
Yes. Yes.
What our women are suffering is a tenth. COVID-19 is just a tenth of that. And it has to stop.
It has to stop. It has to stop. I mean, Africa, it seems like Africa has been a testing ground for all kind of disease, Ebola, AIDS, now COVID, and so many others I can't even remember. But it's a testing ground. When is it that we are going to be proud of ourselves? When is it that we are going to fight back? When is it that we are going to do anything?
Now.
Our children are suffering. Even the children don't have jobs, don't have anything. And right now, I just had a meeting with a group of young people in Africa, and they saying, Dr. Barrow, we need your help. We need your help. Why do they have to leave Africa and knock my door all the way in this region to ask for help? You know why? Because the leaders don't respect the youth. It is time now for leaders to respect the youth. Don't you know they are the future? This is not about educating your child and sending your child to Europe only, but this is to educate our young people to have a better Africa.
Absolutely. And you know what is painful for me is that, okay, it's one thing to experience what we're having to go through. The word of God says, for lack of knowledge, my people perish.
Yes.
There are options of decent jobs available in the same region that our daughters can have access to. But because we're not signing the right agreements and we're signing into kafala, we're suffering.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that's why I spent 11 years writing my book, Deadly Work or Decent Work. We don't have to be in deadly work. It is totally unnecessary.
Yes.
The Asians have refused to be in deadly work. The Asians only take decent work when they do travel overseas. So if migration is going to happen, whether we like it or not, because the young people want to travel, can't we allow them, can't we create legal channels for them to go into decent jobs? Should they decide they want to travel, they should not have to end up in deadly work.
Yes.
Now, if our leaders and our organizers do their work well, they will be able to still travel and go into decent jobs. You know, but we want migration out of choice. Not migration where people are forced to migrate because of poverty. That is the piece that has to end.
Right. Now, the listeners, I would like for you to share this video because there's a lot of people don't know that this is happening. So if you're watching this show, I would love for you to share the video. Also, I would like to know, what is it that those that are listening can do, Princess? What is it that they can do to help?
All right. We have a petition. They can go to enddeadlywork.com, sign the petition, sign up to be part of the movement. We want as many signatures worldwide as possible. We want to go to the African Parliament and start to talk to our leaders. We want them to join the movement. This is actually Black Lives Matter plus Me Too put together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Together, absolutely. Because they are suffering in sexual harassment and their lives are treated like slaves.
Yes.
So it's a combination of Me Too and Black Lives Matter all together, and we need to have it stopped and stopped right now. One of the things that we're doing here is when the returnees come, We are putting them into entrepreneurial opportunities. We're taking the story to try to change the narrative and make a shift and turn it around for them to have something to do that earns them an income more than what they were earning while over there. We will ask those who are watching to support those initiatives. For instance, some of them now are doing shea butter, black soap, all the stuff that we need for our African body, skin, and hair, all 100% natural, called Treasures of Eden. And those are being championed by them. We want to even bring it to Nigeria, Omotola, so that the women that are coming back, when they come back, you see, when the women come back and there's nothing for them to do, and we know there's nothing for them to do, that's why they went in the first place.
Exactly.
They are vulnerable to human traffickers to take them to, and that they'll say, oh, look, Lebanon was not good, but I can get you Dubai. Or I can get you Dubai.
So they're going somewhere else, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, they re-enter into slavery.
Yes, they enter into another level of slavery. So we need to find systems and opportunities that keep them at home. We have 40 million African Americans in the United States. We have many all around the diaspora. There are over 100 million. We're in Brazil. There are many people of African descent there. The products that we use, the shea butter, the black soap, these are good for our skin, good for our hair, good for our life, and even good to save us from COVID-19. There are things that we do now. People are dying at a very high rate compared to other races. These products coming out of these women now can save our people who have the ability to be able to spend that kind of money while saving the lives of these young women and keeping them on the continent. And so I want to see this story turn around for good. That at the end of the day, it brings us together, lifts all of us up to another level, and frees our women from having to go into slavery in the Middle East.
Can I have a suggestion, because I'm listening to you as far as the entrepreneurship is concerned, because there is a lot of companies, startup companies, especially now. There's probably going to be a lot more entrepreneurs than ever before. And one of the young lady, Omotola, that you brought on the show, she was a university, she graduated from the university. I can't remember. I don't know if that was Lulu, but it was one of the young ladies. So there's a lot of those young ladies also are well skilled. They have good skills. And I am thinking that what we need to do is to find out when they come back to discover what their skills are. So that way, even though we're presenting opportunities to them, we need to know their skills. And then by knowing their skills, remember, this is virtual now. They can, even if they're in technology, if they can do websites, if they can do logos, if they can do whatever, I need those people. I need those people. So, so what we need to do is to categorize all those skills, and then we can begin to help these young people. And they don't have to get the service in Africa. They can get the service wherever. So these are things that also that we can present to our young people, because a lot of times we are giving them something to do, and they have a skill that they can say, we can teach them now. With your skill, you can be an entrepreneur. You can do this, and they love what they're doing. We're not doing enough of that, and we don't know how to take what they have and transform that into a business. These are things that I do with my young people, because I have a youth ambassador program around the world, and that's what I do. I take what they have and I convert that into a business, and then they moved on. So what I'm trying to say here, just like the conversations that we're having now, and this just came to me, we need to have a round table. We need to sit down and start talking about all these things that we can do for these young ladies. And those people that are watching, if you would like to mentor these young ladies, and would you like to, enhance their skills, if they're whatever they may be doing, you might say, well, I can't give money, I can't give this, but I can give them the service, and so on. What I'm trying to say, we all need to be involved.
Absolutely.
All of us need to be involved. and
In fact,
stop ignoring the situation. Yes.
absolutely. In fact, one of the things that we need are psychologists, because what we are doing in
Thank
Ghana
you.
is that when they arrive, they've been through a lot of trauma.
Yes.
So we have counseling services for them, and
Mm-hmm.
we have assessment services for them, where we sit with them, find out exactly. We have working with Dr. Osei from the Ghana psychiatric ward, and so he's working with them to find out where they are mentally and how we can rehab. Some of them have been through very, very serious trauma. Some of them may have been raped 7, 8 times by, 5, 6, 7 men, all kinds of crazy stuff when you hear it, my sister. It is just so sad.
I'm
So
aware.
is rehabbing them as the first priority and making sure that they are in a good mental state. Once they finish that, that's the first phase of our program. Once they finish that, then we start to work with them as to what their skills are. So we go through a skills assessment with them. But right now, they just arrived. So we're really more in the rehab state for them now. And then we're working towards having the entrepreneurial program. I mean, some of them who left here had never seen a washing machine before. They had never seen microwave before. But in working overseas, some of them have acquired certain skills which are beneficial. Some may have discovered that they actually like being in domestic work. Domestic work where they are treated with dignity is still an option for them to take. So they can have that. And the other, like you were saying, now there's a whole virtual life that has erupted. Some can be virtual secretaries, it can be, there's so many things. So in the assessment stage, we'll be able to determine their skill sets, and then we start to deploy them accordingly. But right now, we want to make sure that we rehab them and get them to be in good mental state and let them know that they are loved, they are cared for, and then after that, we can now deploy them.
Yes. Amatola, you want to say anything, add
Yes,
anything?
I just wanted to I just wanted to reiterate what Princess has said. Thank you very much. That's a very critical portion of the rehabilitation process that a lot of people miss, and which is why a lot of our girls continue to re-enter slavery. The rehabilitation is key. The trauma counseling is key. The reminder of their self-worth, of who they are, of their value, that they are not products. Because if you have been traded as a product from one person to another over time, you no longer see yourself as a person, but as a product. So that trauma counseling is very important. In addition to that, I just want to say that while we speak of our governments, we also need the support of the private sector, because the private we Africa is a combination of the private sector, the public sector, um, the private sector, public sector, the development space, and the academics. And we need to leverage the resources and learnings from all four if we are going to build economies that we'll be proud of, or countries that we'll be proud of. Where
Yes.
do recruitments take place? The recruitments take place in communities, they take place in pretty organized systems. So the people are recruiting from churches, they are recruiting from mosques. You would see someone tell you, my pastor told me about this opportunity. I think our campaign needs to go into those spaces as well. Um, People who recruit are trusted allies. In Yoruba, we call them Auntie Adugbo or Brother Adugbo. What that means is big brother in the neighborhood or big sister in the neighborhood who tells us about this fantastic opportunity. And because she's the big brother or big sister, we believe her. What are the alternative big brothers or big sisters who will be genuine guidance, who people can trust, who these girls can trust and
Yeah.
question things? Also, in Africa, we have a culture of not asking questions as long as it comes from an elderly person. That's something that should be
That's danger.
yes,
Yeah.
that should be deconstructed. When the
Yeah.
fact that your pastor told you something or your imam told you something doesn't make it correct. Ask questions. Your brain is not, we keep saying that your brain is not a decoration. It's to be used. People should ask questions. Where am I going to? How do I get there? Google is available. Google is free research. You don't need to go to a library anymore. What is the name of this country? What's the name of this company I'm working with? So I think we need to engage everyone in this campaign. While we speak to government is good, government has its parts to play, but the private sector too can be a very formidable
Yes,
force.
yes.
You know, even in bringing some of the girls back, why can't we have our airlines dedicate 2, 3, 4 seats?
Mhm.
Just that can be their own contribution that guarantees a girl at any point in time safe flight home. So while we can we don't have to monetize everything, but we can look at what values we can exchange. But
Exactly.
these conversations need to need to start everywhere. At home, at the dining table, what are parents talking about? It seems to me that some of the girls are really afraid to come back, not because they don't want to, but because we have a culture of shame if you are not successful.
Yes.
So they don't want to return and not be seen as successful. If that is the case, what are the transit homes that can receive them in the 6 months, 9 months, 1 year period before
Yeah.
they interface with their family? So, okay, you've gone, you've made a mistake, you need to come back home. Where are the shelters that can take them and care for them in that temporary period before they face their family? I spoke with one of our ladies this evening, shortly before this. Now she came back from, she's the one I said came back from Cote d'Ivoire, who was sleeping with 15 men per day. She has
Mhm.
returned safely. We put her to learn hairdressing, and that was since January. She should finish her training in October. But she told me this evening, she says she's tired. I said, why? She says since she got back home, there's been pressure on her. Now, some of them, a lot of them don't know they don't know how she got back to Nigeria. But these parents are putting pressure on her to send money.
Yeah.
Where she lives right now, we put her in a safe place, like a host family is taking care of her. They don't know how she feeds or she eats, but the parents are asking her send money. We sent her some money a couple of months back to open an account, and we're asking, okay, so how much? What do you need now? And she says, well, I sent everything to my mom. So how have
Oh,
you been living?
yeah.
So these are the realities of even those who have returned. What space? What's the care they can get in the meantime before they interface back with
Yes.
society. If we don't have that, they will prefer to be prostituting and be beaten by strangers than face the people who love them back home.
So this is also part of the culture too. Then this
Oh, yes, it is.
is somewhat part of the culture because if I know that if something happened to me and I'm abroad and I don't want to come home because of how my parents is going to think about me, so then I will stay and go through whatever. That has to change. There's a lot of things that has to change, and I think that and one of the main things that I am working on so hard is the fact that if something is happening in Africa, why is it the diasporans are not supporting and not helping? Because we have a tendency to think that we're different, even though we are from Africa. I've never heard, and they have separated us in such ways. They've separated us with the flags of the nation. This is why I tell my brothers and sisters, put the flag down for a minute, because the flag is what have oppressed us. You see. And the second thing is because Princess is living there or from Ghana and you're from Nigeria, then you're foreign to me. You're not my sisters. We have to change the mindset. That's the most important thing right now that we need to do, because if we don't change the mindset, what's happening in Africa stays in Africa. What's happening in Latin America stays here. But we're all the same people and we're not helping each other. That has to stop, Princess. We have to support each other. You are my sister, whatever you need. If whatever I can do I should be able to help you, and vice versa. We should not be separating ourselves. We're the only people that does that. You have the Chinese, they stick together. You have the European, they stick together. They don't say I'm from Russia and you from the United States. They're white folks. They stick together. We are the only ones that's defining, well, I'm from Jamaica, I'm from Panama. I don't have anything to do with Africa. Africa don't have anything to do with over here. And I've experienced that. We have to, all of you that are listening to me, we have to support each other. These are young ladies that are dying. There are young children that are being kidnapped in the United States, Black children every single day. And none of us are bringing this to the front. And it will come on in the regular news for a day or two and it's gone. But guess what? It's happening too often. That's what scares me. And one day we're going to wake up and we're going to be in slavery again. But we are not going to do that.
No.
Princess,
Make sure
we are not going to do that.
no,
We are strong women.
Under our watch,
it will not happen.
we are going to find the tallest mountain and shout it out.
Yes.
Until our leaders and whoever is supposed to take action takes action.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. And then I have someone here saying, yes, Sister Melida Harris Barrow, STL, Black Women and Black Women for Harris is willing to help you. Okay. So would you be able to provide your information? You can send, let me just type you the email because we need all the help that we can. I'm gonna put my my email information here. You can write me because we need the help. All of us need the help. MelidaBarrowFaustina@gmail.com. And again, I want to make sure that we inform the audience that you can donate time. You can donate your time. Yes. You can donate funds, because a lot of these young ladies needs to get back home and there's no funds for them to get back home. If you're a psychologist, if you're a coach, you know, we need you now. We need you to help these young ladies because there was an incident not too long ago. I think her name is Tay, that she was murdered, but they said that she was, Tay, right? She was murdered. And I was reading that story and I have to say it hit me really hard because this young lady wanted to come home, but she didn't have the money to come home. And she asked for help to a organization, and 18 hours later, she was dead. That hit me hard because she wanted to come home. And these are the things that's why I'm saying we have to make Africa aware, the world aware, because this is not just in Africa. This is happening all over. And what I don't understand, Princess, is what's going on with the government of Lebanon. Are they allowing this to happen? Because this young lady died. And what is going to happen? Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, the Lebanese government has said that they are doing investigations. And recently, they are modifying, you know, the employment system in the Middle East is called kafala, which means, you know, I've adopted you. More or less, they treat like I own you. Okay, let's be real. It means I own you. I'm responsible.
What is it called again? So the audience get a kafala?
It's called kafala. It's an adoption system that was used. It started about 70 years ago in the Middle East. Some Middle Eastern countries like UAE, they have banned it. They have stopped it. Mm-hmm. But there are many Middle Eastern countries that are still using it. In fact, Qatar just announced recently that they banned it. They're not going to do it anymore. Saudi Arabia said they will ban it soon. Lebanon is in it. There are other countries, Oman, there are other countries that are in it.
Yes.
And in this system, you are tied to one employer. And so whether the employer is abusing you or raping you or whatever, you can't do anything. Once you leave that house, more than likely you'll be put into prison, or you get a false accusation and then you are in prison, or you'll be sent back to that same home because your visa and everything is tied to that employer. You know, so that system is a system that we need to have the African leaders not sign into. Now, Lebanon says they have reformed it. They are doing a reform. Can you reform rape?
No.
How do you reform? You need to abolish a bad thing. You don't say, oh, I'm reforming sexual harassment, or I'm reforming rape. No. We don't want that system. We don't want a system that enslaves our people. You can't reform. This is reformed slavery.
How can we fix that, Princess? How can that be fixed?
Well, they need to abolish the kafala system like UAE has, and they should adopt decent work programs. There's a decent work program.
Lebanon? Who needs to abolish it?
Pardon?
Who needs to abolish that? Lebanon?
Government of Lebanon needs to say, so we are abolishing, not that we are reforming. We don't want reformed slavery. We want slavery to be abolished.
Yes.
And then you introduce decent work systems, like UAE has a system called Tadbir. Tadbir is a very good system. It has mediation programs. The girls they don't seize their passports. They get a day off. They get 30 days paid vacation. They get treated like human beings. If you see even where they are hired, the environment that is, all those are right there in the Middle East. But we are not asking for those. So we need to understand. That's why I wrote this book, Deadly Work, Decent Work, is to fish out where the decent jobs are and let our people have access to those. And let them say a blanket no to reform slavery or slavery in any form.
Yes. Now, can I ask this question? Now, the government in Africa, what can they do to abolish that? I mean, what can, I want
they can choose not to sign bilateral agreements with those
countries. They signed it already? Was that signed?
Yeah, that's what they keep signing.
A lot of bilateral agreements.
They keep signing that. Asia.
They don't need the details of those agreements.
Yes.
That's the problem.
So if the government of Africa is signing these things, so they're part of the problem.
Yes, but they don't even know. For them, they are trying to solve unemployment, the grave unemployment. In fact, I don't want to mention the name of the country, but one of the African presidents invited me for a migration consultation. And the day that I got there, they'd gotten a letter from one Middle Eastern country, and they were going to give them jobs. So when I got there, they're like, "Oh, we are getting all these thousands of jobs from this country." I said, "Really?" I said, "Well, open it up and let's look at it." And I told them there are different kinds. If this is the kind, a kafala type, if they give you a kafala job, don't sign. But if it's another type, sign. When they open the letter, it's thousands of kafala jobs.
Imagine.
So if I had not been there, they would have happily signed it, because for them, they don't understand kafala or any of those systems. And that's critical for us to educate them.
Right. Can I ask this question?
Sure.
So what is it that the government gets once they signed it? Do they get anything out of this deal that they're signing?
Well, yeah, there are recruitment fees that are paid, quite some good money. And if there are agencies involved, anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 per head.
Okay, so this is
45,000 people going. That's $45 million.
So my point is this, though. So if I'm the government and I'm getting $2,000 a head, this is a business.
It is.
This is not to protect our women. This is to. So actually, we're raping our own government is raping our women as well.
One of the things I want to say is it goes anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000, depending.
It really doesn't matter the amount of money. What I'm concerned about is the fact that if I sign this kafala,
Yeah.
if I
Yes.
sign this, I
Mhm.
am getting paid as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
So my point is, if so you're telling me they don't know what a kafala is? Of course they know.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
And
let me finish because I need to, and my audience need to understand that too. So if I sign, I'm getting paid. So my young girls are going to go into a country under a kafala contract, and I already know what's going to happen to them pretty much. So why would I sign that to hurt women?
No,
Why
because
because
would I
the
do that?
government don't know the
quote
full
unquote,
details of the
yeah,
kafala. They don't know they don't read those contracts in detail.
exactly. And
So they
actually,
don't know the full implication of
right.
But can we
kafala.
educate them? Let's begin to educate
That's
them.
what we have to do, because one of the things is that they think that because they signed an agreement, they've put in safety protection, frameworks in place, and they have put a legal migration system in place. So this thing happens by two ways. It happens through human traffickers, and it happens through agreements that are signed. The thing is that once some of the programs are done, everything goes very nicely and smoothly until they enter the houses. All right. And so when you sign a bilateral agreement, everything is easier. Everything that the passports are done, visas are done, the people are received at the airport. But the real trouble is when they enter into the household, because you cannot go into somebody's bedroom and tell them how to treat their worker. You cannot go into somebody's house and tell them how to treat the worker, except if there's in UAE, if there's a complaint, that person can go to jail, but in other countries, they can't. There are no consequences for the abuse. Very, very little.
Yeah.
And so it continues. So what we need to make sure that our governments should say, they get paid for doing the decent work too. I mean, they still get paid, not as high, half the amount for sending the workers into the decent work. None of it is free. So what we need to do is make sure that our leaders are fully aware and that they understand what kafala looks like and do not sign our daughters into kafala. One. Number two, we need to be educating our children and our families at the community levels.
Yes.
They don't sign, even if government says, I have a job for you, they say, if it's kafala, I'm not going.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? So we have to do the awareness and the education on all levels of our society. Our churches need to know, our mosques need to know, all the leaders on all levels should be aware of what we are talking about. Then we will start to make a crack make a dent in trying to solve this problem.
Very good, very good.
Well,
ladies,
you mentioned that recruitment happens on university campuses too.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Our time is up.
Oh, we just are so grateful. We're so grateful to you, for doing this for our race and for the women.
Yeah.
And this work you're doing is very precious, and I pray that God will continue to expand your coast, that your voice will be heard all over for this kind of work that you're doing. May God bless you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to
what you continue to do. I'm so proud of you. I am so, so proud of you. And may your work also grow. Thank you so much.
I need my African brothers and sisters to pass the show and spread this show in Africa, because I think it's important for us to unite. I think it's important for the African diaspora and Africa to work together, because that's where I'm headed, and this is the work that I've been doing for many, many years, because we have to bring awareness. And I pray to God that our leaders in Africa understand that when they sign something, it is to protect our women in Africa and protect our men in Africa, because I think that's important. I love you both. I love you both. You want to say final words? Go ahead, Omotola.
Okay, I'll just say thank you very much for everyone who took time to watch. And this is just a seed that has been planted. Now you've heard it. Please run with it. Be an advocate. Educate someone next to you. Share this information. Share this video. You might be saving a life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And my princess, final words.
We must agree to say never again should our people enter into any form of slavery anywhere in the world. And so each one of us has a responsibility. Each one must teach one to make sure that this doesn't happen again. As my sister Motala said, share this video as many times as you can, 100 times, 1,000 times. Let it reach far and near. And thank you so much, our beloved sister, for having us here. Dr. Mara, God bless you so much. You are wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank my audience for watching Love, Truth, and Peace. We're always bringing awareness. Those of you that have and want to voice your opinion about things and you would like to be on this show, please, you can email me at melidabarrow14@gmail.com. Thank you very much and have a blessed evening. Thank you.